Our world is beautiful, undergoing constant evolution spanning over millions of years. Land shaped by the mighty oceans, creatures nurtured by the soil, a place we all call home. Though this home can be easily disrupted. Pollution flows through the water and air. Resources are in constant battle among species. But from the darkness grows hope. Many have seen the destruction and are fighting for a new, brighter future. Join Blank Park Zoo and our conservation partners in efforts to protect the plants and animals that call Earth home. Take a step back in time with Aldabra tortoises. Explore the secrets of the Congo with okapi. Discover the majesty that is the Amur tiger. This is Hope for the Wild.
Hello, and welcome to Hope for the Wild, presented by Blank Park Zoo. The majesty of nature is truly inspiring. There's nothing more majestic than the biggest cat in the world, the Amur tigers. This subspecies of tiger can be found in the forest, bush-covered mountains of eastern Russia, northeastern China, and the northern regions of North Korea. We invite you to join us on our journey to discover, connect, and take action for the Amur tiger.
Amur tigers are different from other subspecies primarily due to their location and their size. So being in those snowy environments, that creates a little bit of a difference between other tigers that are found in mostly warm environments. Also, their pale golden color and those nice dark stripes are actually very distinguishable of that subspecies versus others that have a bit of a more rustic orange kind of coat and a little bit more spread out stripes. So the Amur tiger was formerly found in the Siberia area, which is how it's got its name, the Siberian tiger. Unfortunately, due to changes in their historic ranges now, they are now found toward the Amur River, which separates eastern Russia and northeastern China from each other on the borders. So the name change, Amur tiger, is more reflective of their current environment. One of the big things that makes the Amur tiger special is that they are the only large cat that lives in those tundra environments, so they are completely modified to live in those cold environments. As well as being the largest cat species, they tower over any other cat species, with males being able to reach up to about 600 pounds, which tops out lions at 500, so they are just a huge cat, which is really impressive. So Amur tigers can live about 10 to 14 years in the wild, and then in human care you can get late teens and early 20s. Sometimes females will live longer than males due to the competitive nature of being able to hold territories out in the wild, so that lifespan can be a little different based on the gender of the animal. Tigers are an apex predator. They are the top predators in their environment. Sometimes they will come into contact with different bear species, which would be their only other competition, but typically they're going to be apex predators in their environment. The adaptations that tigers have, they don't seem super obvious when we just look at them, but their stripe pattern is a huge adaptation that they've developed to be able to hide in brush areas and be able to confuse their prey. The stripes actually help distort the animal to kind of confuse whatever is being hunted by them, to not really know which way the tiger is going and not being able to predict their movements. As well as their large paws, they actually have nails that are about the size of house keys. So that creates a nice adaptation for them to be an apex predator, as well as very large teeth. They are solitary too, so they can hunt and be a little bit more secretive than other kind of cats, like our lions who hunt in groups. So they have their own advantages with that as well. And they even have the eye spots on the back of their ears that actually deter other cats from being able to sneak up on them. So believe it or not, they have to protect themselves from other tigers as well. So those apex predators are really widespread. So the role that Amur tigers play is actually more of a control kind of role. So they are going to be controlling those prey populations and making sure that those prey populations stay healthy. They're also encouraging growth within forests because taking down those prey populations, you're not doing overeating of those environments, and the natural animals that are going to be living in those forests get a chance to actually live and prosper, opposed to a lot of deer or a lot of other hoofed animals eating all of the grass and not leaving much for everybody else. It's very similar to in our current environments in the US, where we have taken out a lot of the apex predators and now we have to hunt deer ourselves to help control that population. Tigers are put into place so that they can help control those populations, but without tigers, humans would have to step in. Trust me, the tigers do a much better job of picking out which individuals are weaker and which individuals need to be pulled from a population, while we like to get the bigger individuals, which isn't necessarily great for the growth of the population. In Chinese cultures, they're actually seen as a destroyer of evil and a purveyor of good, as well as in Siberian and Eastern Russian cultures, they're seen as guardians of the forest. So the biggest threat, unfortunately, is habitat loss, and it is illegal poaching by humans. So unfortunately, we are the biggest threat to tigers in the current world. So a local thing that can be done to protect Amur tigers is supporting AZA accredited facilities and their donation partners. Your admission to AZA facilities helps us donate to those partners and be able to protect those animals in the wild. Another international way that you can help is working with programs that help incentivize the people that live among Amur tigers to help protect them. We want to give those people their needs so that they feel the need to protect those tigers. Another thing that can be done to protect Amur tigers is helping to reduce those animal-human conflicts that can result in illegal killing or retaliation killing and the loss of human life. So working with organizations that help protect those people that live among Amur tigers can really help those tiger populations.
Did you know tigers like to stay by the water? Unlike most cats, they love the water and are excellent swimmers. Because of their thick coats, they'll submerge themselves in the rivers during the summer months to stay cool.
Scientists have classified the tiger into 9 subspecies: the extinct Bali, Caspian, and Javan, and the living Malayan, Sumatran, South China, and Indonesia, Bengal, and Amur. Of the 6 subspecies, AZA-accredited zoos manage the Amur, Malayan, and Sumatran. Blank Park Zoo is home to the Amur tiger, which is classified as endangered. Let's take a moment to discover and learn more about the Amur tigers in our care.
So Blank Park Zoo is home to 2 Amur tigers. We have a male and a female. Our female is Misha. She's 12 years old. She likes to spend her time playing in the pool. You might see her frolicking around. If you're having a hard time finding her, she does like to hang out in the very back of her exhibit. You might have to spend some time and just look for her tail flick, but chances are if you hang out long enough, you'll see her back there. Here at Blank Park Zoo, we care for the 2 Amur tigers, and our days typically look pretty similar. First thing we do in the morning is come in, make sure all the cats are bright and alert. Then we will make sure that they are in a space away from us because safety is very important, and obviously we never share space with the cat. So then we will service their yard. We'll typically put out like new enrichment items. Misha loves balls in her pool, or sometimes she likes to shred boxes. So we try and rotate that every day. We also just check the perimeter, make sure everything's safe for them to go back outside.
Okay, so we are about to go out and service our tiger exhibit for the day. So before we go out there, I want to make sure that both of my tigers are secured in holding. So I went and I checked their doors and made sure that they had no access to the exhibit, so it is safe for us to go outside. So one thing that we have as part of our cat building we have these signs. They either say keeper in space or animal in space. So this is just so that anybody that comes in here can kind of at a quick glance know what is going on in this exhibit before ever entering a space. And they just know what's going on. So I'm gonna put the keeper in space sign up because we are about to go out on this exhibit. So one of the things that we do for these animals before we can ever let them out on this exhibit is we really want to make sure it is safe for not only the animals to come out here, but for the people that maybe visit the zoo or us walking around. So we will go around and we check the fence, make sure that the integrity of the fence is really good, that there are no limbs that have fallen down, or any way that the fence is unsecure that the animal could potentially get out of the exhibit. So we want to make sure that everybody can see through the windows, and our female tiger really likes to pee on the windows. So we clean these every day, both sides of them. So our side and the public side will get cleaned by us. This is all of our scent enrichment that we use for cats. So we have a lot of seasonings, extracts, like body sprays, colognes, perfumes, and even like animal scents. So we have like deer urine and like hunting sticks, things like that. And cats really enjoy scent enrichment. They will often like rub on whatever smells like these various things. And for a lot of our cats, the stinkier the better. So the stronger the perfume or the cologne, they love that. So we'll pick out a really strong one today. So we here do goal-based enrichment. So we have different goals that we set for every animal on our team. And today's goal is investigation or investigative play. So this will be an awesome item that Bronovic can go out and hopefully like knock around a little bit if he wants to. So it's a really good investigation item. So this is a barrel that we're going to give him today.
Once the cats go outside for the day, that's when we clean their indoor holding space. Typically in the early afternoon, if we have time and like available staff, we will do a brief training session with each cat. And these training sessions are geared towards like husbandry behaviors, which means like the cats will present their paws for us to check maybe like harder to see places. So that's something we try and do every day. As the day comes to an end, we'll bring the cats in and feed them. The tigers have a varied diet here at Blank Park Zoo. It ranges from like whole rabbits, like a processed feline diet specifically for cats. They get beef femur bones, chickens, stuff like that. At the end of the night, we just make sure again that everything's locked up and secure and say goodnight to the cats. Blank Park Zoo and other AZA facilities across the country support the Tiger Conservation Campaign with every guest's dollar. And a couple of the ways that the Tiger Conservation Campaign helps out in Russia is they support the Wildlife Conservation Society, who actually goes out into the field and they help give the park rangers like information that they need. They help encourage them. Another thing they do is they work with logging companies, and they actually work with those companies to shut down logging roads that no longer really need to be in use. And this actually limits poachers' access to the tiger territories, which then decreases the number of tigers that are poached.
Bronovic arrived just a couple months ago. We did an exchange, so many of you might know Luca, who was our male before. He left and went to the Omaha Zoo. We received Bronovic from the Omaha Zoo, and this is all part of a cooperative breeding program called a Species Survival Plan, or SSP.
Ready, everybody ready? On three. 1, 2, 3. Go down or higher.
You know, zoos really work together to move animals around for the benefit of creating these sustainable populations. And it takes a lot of people to work together. These are very dangerous animals. So we have to really work together in how we move those. So Omaha delivered Bronovic in a crate. He was unloaded into our quarantine facility. And there he spent 30 days to make sure he's healthy, make sure everything's good with him, make sure he kind of gets relaxed. And then he is crate trained while he's there. So he learns to go, or he's trained to go in the crate on his own, where after our 30 days, we're able to shut that door. And then it's the great undertaking to move a 600, 700, 800 pound crate from a quarantine facility down here to the exhibit. Everything went really well with this move. He's a really calm cat once he kind of understands where he's at. But it's quite an undertaking. Luckily, it was just from Omaha to here, so it was an easy move close by, but it's still a lot of work goes into these moves. It is our great responsibility to take care of these animals that are here at the Blank Park Zoo. So you may see us occasionally wearing masks, and that is solely to protect our animals. We vaccinate our animals from various things, including COVID. Big cats and cats in general are susceptible to COVID, so we're just taking those extra steps to make sure that we're keeping them safe and healthy. The Blank Park Zoo is part of the species survival plan, and it's our job, it's our responsibility to have sustainable populations by breeding our tigers here. The Amur tiger is a critically endangered species. There may be 250 to 350 left in the wild. So this species could go extinct in our time. So it's our goal to try to create ambassadors to get people involved, wanting to save them in the wild, and possibly even reintroduce way down the road, but reintroduction is still a possibility. The goal of an SSP is to have sustainable populations. So we're always trying to move cats around, in this case, trying to find the best pairing from a genetic perspective and develop and create cubs on the ground, which is what we're looking for.
Amur tigers are the largest cat in the world. While tigers may be the largest among big cats, Amur tigers are the largest within the species. A male tiger may grow to reach 10.5 feet long from head to tail and weigh up to 575 pounds. For a comparison, a male tiger can be as long as a compact car and weigh about half as much as a grand piano. Females are smaller, typically weighing between 240 and 290 pounds. Amur tigers, my favorite.
While zoos play a vital role in the protection and conservation of the Amur tiger, they're still wild animals. Blank Park Zoo is proud to partner with the Tiger Conservation Campaign to protect the Amur tigers in their native habitat. Learn more how you can connect with the work the Tiger Conservation Campaign is doing with local communities to save the Amur tiger.
Hi, my name is Tara Harris and I'm the Director of Conservation and Science at the Phoenix Zoo and the coordinator of the Tiger Conservation Campaign. Tigers have long been near and dear to my heart, and I wanted to do something more to help them. More than a decade ago, I launched the Tiger Conservation Campaign with the simple belief that accredited zoos and aquariums and the people who love them can and should come together to help save wild tigers. Together, we're working to provide consistent, long-term funding to on-the-ground efforts that are working to stop the threats that endanger wild tigers and to help the communities that are key to saving them. I want to sincerely thank the Blank Park Zoo for their decades-long support for the Tiger Conservation Campaign and share a little bit about how you've been helping to save wild tigers. Both revered and feared, tigers are one of the most iconic species on our planet. The largest of the big cats, tigers need large expanses of forest and grassland that are intact, as well as abundant prey. Tigers once roamed across much of Asia, but now they occupy less than 7% of their former range. Furthermore, poaching of tigers and their prey has contributed to a steep decline in wild tiger populations, leaving them highly endangered with only around 4,500 remaining. But I'm here to tell you that I have hope for wild tigers. Let me tell you why. Thankfully, there is good evidence that tiger populations can recover if they are well protected. We know this from populations that have grown more than tenfold after protections were put into place. And for the first time in my lifetime, it looks as though wild tiger populations globally may be starting to rebound. And that's thanks to concerted efforts to save this species around the world. So let me tell you about some of the important work that the Tiger Conservation Campaign is supporting on the ground to help save wild tigers. Tigers can have massive home ranges, so to protect a breeding population of tigers, it requires a large team of people covering a huge area, looking for and responding to threats. We're proud to support rangers that do this difficult work and make sure they have the tools and training they need to patrol effectively and keep poachers at bay. In a lot of places where tigers live, poachers set wire or cable snares to trap wildlife. Whether those snares are set for tigers or deer or other species, they have devastating effects on the wildlife in the area. In many areas where tigers remain in the wild, they are increasingly coming into contact with people, especially along the edges of national parks and other protected areas. As you can imagine, this can be a difficult situation for both people and tigers. Tigers in some areas enter villages and kill livestock, creating huge hardships for people whose livelihoods depend on those animals. Tigers, in return, are sometimes killed in retaliation. This unfortunate situation is an example of something we call human-tiger conflict. The Tiger Conservation Campaign supports teams that respond to reports of human-tiger conflict and work with communities to repel tigers back into the forest, keep livestock and people safe, monitor the area to keep an eye out for further tiger activity, and work with people to prevent tigers from returning. In some cases, these teams also rescue tigers that are hurt. For example, if they have been caught in a snare trap that farmers set to catch wild pigs. So how do you know if all of these conservation efforts are actually working to help save wild tigers? Well, the Tiger Conservation Campaign supports our partners' work to monitor wild tiger populations long-term. Camera trapping is a really great way to figure out how many tigers live in an area. Thankfully, every tiger has a different set of stripes, and so you can identify individuals just by looking at their picture. One other great thing is you can see cubs or even lactating females in the pictures, so you can get an idea of whether a tiger population is breeding. And those breeding populations are the ones we really need to protect in order to save wild tigers. In the areas where the Tiger Conservation Campaign supports projects on the ground to save wild tigers, I'm proud to report that tiger populations are stable or increasing. The projects we support are carried out by the dedicated staff of the Wildlife Conservation Society, as well as the Malayan Tiger Conservation Program, which is a partnership between Woodland Park Zoo, Panthera Malaysia, and Nature-Based Solutions. We thank them for the important work they do in the field to help save wild tigers. And we thank all of the Tiger Conservation Campaign supporters, and especially the Blank Park Zoo, for your long-term support. So what can you do to help wild tigers? Well, support the Blank Park Zoo, which makes an annual donation to the Tiger Conservation Campaign. And of course, I invite you to go visit the Tiger Conservation Campaign's website, www.tigercampaign.org, to learn how you can shop smart for tigers or make a donation. Thank you.
Amur tiger coat color is a lighter orange than other tiger subspecies and becomes even more so in the winter. This is to help them blend in with their snow-covered habitat. Their coat is longer and thicker than other subspecies because of the colder climate, and they have a thick mane around their neck and extra fur on their paws, which protects them against the cold. They also have black and white spots behind their ears that allow the cubs to easily follow their mother through the forest.
Join the conservation movement to save species like the Amur tiger. Get exclusive Hope for the Wild merchandise to show you support this very important project. A portion of all proceeds go directly to Blank Park Zoo and their conservation efforts. Looking to become a conservationist in your own way? Stay tuned as we discuss how you can help the Amur tiger and their native habitat.
No two tigers have the same stripes. Just like humans have fingerprints, each tiger has its own unique pattern.
The Amur tiger faces many threats, including poaching, habitat loss, prey degradation, tiger-human conflict, and disease. But we have hope. Conservation works when we take action for the natural world around us. You may not have tigers in your backyard, but there are actions you can take to help protect them in the wild.
So often we think of tigers being in warm tropical rainforested areas, but here at Blank Park Zoo we have the Amur tiger, which is actually a northern China Russian species that we find further north where it gets a little bit colder. So here I've got some tiger fur, and you can see that it's really thick fur, which makes it a great species choice for us here at Blank Park Zoo because we have really cold snowy winters in Iowa. Rather than having a tropical species that wants it to be a little bit warmer, we have a tiger that can withstand our cold winters, and it actually loves our cold winters. You can also see in this fur some of those stripes. So tiger stripes are very unique, just like a fingerprint. It's very rare to find someone with the same fingerprint as another person, and it's the same way in tigers. So you'll see those patterns and be able to recognize a tiger by their stripes. You can also see in here that those stripes are causing some breakup in the pattern, and those stripes are really helpful for camouflage for those tigers. One thing that I think is really neat about tigers' coloration is that even though they look really brightly colored to us with the dark black and the orange, to their prey species, like hoofstock, like maybe a deer in their native habitat, deer's vision is very different from how we perceive things and the colors that we're able to see. And so these bright orange colors and dark blacks will actually look more like the yellows and the browns of the grasses in those areas, or maybe the wooded trees. And so that is why tigers are actually really well camouflaged, even though they seem really brightly colored to us. So tigers, they're really cool animals, and obviously they have a really cool pattern, and being an apex predator, people are really interested in them, but making sure that we have a profound respect for this species is really important. So some things that we can do to help tigers is advocate for making sure that they do have habitats. They're losing their habitats in the wild due to human spaces and our changing of those environments to suit our needs. But also there's things like poaching and illegal trade that are happening where people are just fascinated with these creatures and they're taking them out of the wild and really using them for human entertainment and things like that. So making sure that we're supporting AZA facilities like Blank Park Zoo that are keeping these animals for the right reasons and not just for human entertainment is really important, and being an advocate for them. Telling people how important having an apex predator in an ecosystem is and how that is helping more animals and plant species by having them there. Here I have what I think is a really cool artifact. When some of our animals go through procedures and they are under anesthesia, even some of our dangerous animals that we don't have any touch with, we're able to get these really cool paw prints or paint prints while they're under. So this was a footprint actually of a former resident that we had here at Blank Park Zoo. Her name was Goldie, and she was one of our tigers that we had on exhibit. And you can see that this paw print, it's very big, but it is smaller than my hand, which always surprises me that a really big tiger could have a smaller print than I have with my hand. But my hands are designed for different things than a tiger paw would be. So she's gonna wanna have a smaller pad so that when she's walking through the snow, there's less of her skin or that tender part of her foot touching such a cold material, and maybe having some more fur protecting those areas. You can also tell in here that you can't see the claws, so the claws might not be always visible on a cat, just similar like we notice on our house cats. Those claws being able to extend out at times when they need them, like when capturing prey, but not needing to be fully out all the time. So it's really important for us on the education team to have artifacts like this because we do not encourage touch of our animals because they're wild animals, especially something that would be considered a dangerous animal like a big cat. We don't have touch. Even the zookeepers and the vet avoid ever being in the same space as them. So having artifacts like this allows our guests and our audiences to get a little closer to these animals. Things like the fur, that they can feel what a tiger is going to feel like, because you're never going to feel a real tiger, hopefully. And seeing that paw print and really being able to compare yourself to that animal and feel the empathy and literally put your shoe on top of their footprint and see what it would be like to be a tiger. So we do get asked a lot about our artifacts and where they come from. So obviously this is a really great artifact because you can tell it didn't harm the animal to take this and get their footprint. But things like furs and bones and things like that, there could be some concern. And so with those types of artifacts, they might be acquired after the animal passes away. And so there's definitely a process where we go through and we decide whether there are parts of an animal that would serve an educational purpose. So we're making sure that there's always a purpose. A lot of these animals are here to help spread awareness for their species, and so it's a really great opportunity for those animals to live on past their time, continuing to educate the public and give people that up-close experience. So another way we can avoid harming an animal is we can acquire artifacts that are replicas. So for example, we have replica lion claws. With tigers, we might acquire replicas of their teeth and their jaw to show just how great their bite force might be and how their teeth might differ from other cat species.
Thank you for joining us for Hope for the Wild Amur tigers. The majesty of the species is truly unmatched. Blank Park Zoo is proud to live our mission to inspire an appreciation of the natural world through conservation, education, research, and recreation. And as a member of the AZA, we work collectively to save animals in the wild from extinction. Thank you to the Blank Park Zoo staff, volunteers, and the Tiger Conservation Campaign. It takes all of us working together to make a difference. Remember, none of this would be possible without you, our viewer. We hope you enjoyed our program, and thank you for watching Hope for the Wild Amur Tiger.